Part 1. The verdict, Marcus. Chen wiped sweat from his forehead as he stared at the massive courtroom doors. The metal was covered in strange alien symbols that seemed to move and change when he looked at them. Behind those doors, his fate was being decided by creatures he had never seen before. "This is crazy," he whispered to himself. "All I did was pick some flowers." 3 weeks ago, Marcus had been a simple scientist. He studied alien plants on different worlds, trying to find new medicines for humans. It was quiet work, safe work, or so he thought. The doors opened with a loud boom. A tall, thin alien with blue skin and 4 arms gestured for Marcus to enter. The creature's face had no nose, just 2 small holes where a nose should be. Its eyes were completely black, like looking into deep space. "Human Marcus Chen," the alien said in a voice that sounded like metal scraping against stone. "The court will see you now." Marcus walked into the courtroom and stopped. The room was huge, bigger than a football stadium. Hundreds of different alien species sat in tall chairs that reached toward the ceiling. Some had tentacles, others had scales. A few looked almost human, but their skin was purple or green. All of them were staring at him. In the center of the room was a small platform. Marcus could see 2 figures already standing there. As he got closer, his heart sank. It was them, the 2 alien sisters who had gotten him into this mess. Lyra and Nova stood side by side, but Marcus could tell they didn't want to be near each other. Lyra was tall and muscular, with silver skin that seemed to glow. Her long white hair was braided with metal wires. She looked like a warrior from old Earth. Stories. Nova was shorter and softer, with the same silver skin but golden eyes that seemed to look right through him. Where Lyra looked angry, Nova looked sad. Both sisters had small horns growing from their foreheads and pointed ears. They were beautiful, Marcus had to admit, but beauty was the last thing on his mind right now. "Approach the judgment platform," boomed a voice from above. Marcus looked up. The chief judge was massive, at least 12 feet tall. Its body looked like a tree made of crystal, with branches that sparkled in the light. When it spoke, the sound came from everywhere at once. "Marcus Chen of Earth," the crystal judge said, "you stand accused of violating the sacred bonding rights of the Zephyrian people." "How do you answer?" "I didn't know," Marcus shouted. "I was just collecting plant samples. Nobody told me I was in some kind of ritual area." A wave of noise came from the watching aliens. Some were clicking, others were hissing. Marcus couldn't tell if they were laughing at him or angry with him. The crystal judge raised one branch arm for silence. "Ignorance is not a defense in matters of sacred law. Zephyrian Consul Thane, present your case." An elderly Zephyrian man stood up from the front row. His silver skin was wrinkled with age, and his horns were longer than his granddaughters. He wore rich purple robes covered in golden symbols. When he spoke, his voice was smooth but cold. "Honored judges," Consul Thane began, "3 weeks ago, this human entered the Grove of First Bonding on Zephyr Prime. This is the most sacred place on our world, where young Zephyrians perform the fertility ritual that chooses their life partners." Marcus felt his face turn red. "I didn't know what it was. It just looked like a garden." "Silence," the crystal judge commanded. "Consul Thane, continue." The old Zephyrian smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. "My granddaughters, Lyra and Nova, were performing their ritual. They had fasted for 7 days. They had prepared their minds and souls. When the ritual began, they called out to the universe, asking it to send them worthy partners." Consul Thane pointed at Marcus. "Instead, this human stumbled into their circle. He touched the sacred moonflowers. He breathed in the bonding pollen. According to our oldest laws, he became part of their ritual. The bond was formed." "That's impossible," Marcus protested. "I'm human. I don't have whatever brain parts you people use for bonding. Nova stepped forward. Her voice was soft but clear. Honored judges, I felt it happen. When he touched the flowers, something connected between us. It was different than our stories describe, but it was real. Lyra crossed her arms. I felt it too, though I wish I hadn't. The bond is there, whether we like it or not. The crystal judge's branches rattled like wind chimes. The evidence is clear. Zephyrian bonding law is ancient and absolute. When a bond is formed, it must be honored through marriage. There are no exceptions. But I object, Marcus said desperately. I'm not Zephyrian. I don't even live on their planet. How can your laws apply to me? You entered Zephyrian's sacred space, Consul Thane replied smoothly. You participated in a Zephyrian ritual. Our law covers all who touch our sacred grounds, regardless of species. The crystal judge looked at Marcus with what might have been pity. Human, do you understand what this bond means? Not really, Marcus admitted. Nova spoke again. Among my people, bonding creates a connection between minds and souls. Partners can feel each other's emotions, share thoughts, even share strength in times of need. It is meant to last until death. And you're saying I'm bonded to both of you? Marcus asked. Yes, Lyra said grimly. Twin sisters often share bonds with the same partner. It's rare, but not unheard of. Marcus felt dizzy. This couldn't be happening. A week ago, his biggest worry was whether his research grant would be approved. Now he was being told he had to marry 2 alien princesses because he picked the wrong. Flowers. What if I refuse? He asked. The crystal judge's voice became even colder. Refusing to honor a sacred bond is the highest crime in Zephyrian law. The punishment is exile from all civilized space. You would be banned from every station, every planet, every ship in the galaxy. You would drift in space until you died. Marcus looked around the courtroom. Hundreds of alien eyes stared back at him. None of them looked sympathetic. To them, he was just another primitive human who didn't understand proper civilization. This is ridiculous, he muttered. Perhaps, said the crystal judge, but it is the law. Zephyrian marriage contracts are recognized by the Galactic Council. This court must uphold them. Consul Thane stood up again. Honored judges, I am prepared to welcome this human into our family despite his limitations. The bond has been formed. Honor demands it be fulfilled. Marcus caught something strange in the old alien's voice. He sounded almost eager. But why would he want his granddaughters to marry a random human? The court finds the evidence compelling, the crystal judge announced. Marcus Chen of Earth, you will marry Lyra and Nova of Zephyr Prime within 7 standard days. The ceremony will take place on the Zephyrian homeworld according to traditional customs. Wait, Marcus shouted. Don't I get a lawyer? Don't I get to call Earth's embassy? Earth has no embassy in this sector, the judge replied, and you have already been represented by a court-appointed advocate. Marcus looked around, confused. He hadn't seen any advocate. A small mouse-like alien in the corner squeaked once and put away a tiny notebook. That had been his lawyer. The judgment is final, the crystal judge said. Security will escort you to the Zephyrian transport. 2 massive aliens that looked like walking rocks approached Marcus. He didn't resist. What was the point? He was outnumbered by about 1,000 to 1. As the rock aliens led him toward the exit, Marcus heard Consul Thane talking quietly to someone behind him. Are you certain about his genetic markers? The old Zephyrian whispered. Completely certain, sir, replied another voice. He's exactly what Project Synthesis requires. The perfect human specimen. Marcus's blood turned cold. Project Synthesis? Perfect specimen? This wasn't about honoring some ancient ritual. This was about something else entirely. He tried to turn around to see who the consul was talking to, but the rock aliens kept pushing him forward. The last thing he saw was Lyra and Nova being led away by their own guards. Nova looked back at him with something that might have been sympathy. Lyra didn't look back at all. As the courtroom doors closed behind him, Marcus realized that picking those flowers had been the biggest mistake of his life. But he was starting to suspect it might not have been an accident at all. Part 2. Reluctant Bonds. The Zephyrian transport ship was unlike anything Marcus had ever seen. The walls curved like the inside of a seashell, and they glowed with a soft silver light. Strange music played from somewhere, sounding like wind chimes, mixed with whale songs. It should have been beautiful, but Marcus was too scared to appreciate it. He sat in what the guards called his preparation chamber, wearing clothes that felt like silk but looked like liquid metal. Tomorrow was his wedding day. The thought made his stomach twist into knots. A soft knock came at his door. "Enter," Marcus called, expecting another guard. Instead, Nova stepped inside. She had changed from her court robes into a simple white dress that made her silver skin seem to glow. Her golden eyes looked tired. "We need to talk," she said quietly. Marcus stood up. "Are you allowed to be here?" "I'm your future wife," Nova replied with a bitter smile. "I think I'm allowed to visit my husband-to-be." She sat down on the curved bench across from him. For a moment, they just looked at each other. Marcus had to admit she was beautiful, but he could see the sadness in her strange eyes. "You don't want this either," he said. It wasn't a question. "No," Nova admitted. "I dreamed of choosing my own partner someday. Someone who would love me for who I am, not because a court forced him to." "Then why aren't you fighting this?" Nova touched one of her small horns. "Because I'm Zephyrian. Family honor means everything to us. If I refused to marry you, I would bring shame on my grandfather, my sister, and my entire clan. I would be cast out." Marcus leaned forward. "But you felt it, didn't you? This bond thing?" Nova nodded slowly. "Yes. When you touched the moonflowers, something connected between us. It was like a bridge being built between our minds. I can feel your emotions right now: confusion, fear, anger at being trapped. Can you read my thoughts?" "No, not thoughts. Just feelings. And only strong ones." Nova paused. "I can tell you're a good person, Marcus. You're not cruel or selfish. You're just lost." "Very lost," Marcus agreed. 3 weeks ago, I was studying plant genetics on a research station. Now I'm supposed to marry 2 alien princesses, and I don't even know why." "We're not princesses," Nova said with a small laugh. "Just granddaughters of a minor consul, though Lyra acts like royalty sometimes." "Speaking of Lyra, where is she?" Nova's face darkened. "Training. She's always training. Fighting, weapons practice, combat meditation. She says if she has to marry you, she wants to make sure she can protect you." "Protect me from what?" "I don't know. But something has her worried." Marcus remembered the whispered conversation he'd overheard in court. "Nova, has your grandfather been acting strange lately? More interested in experiments or projects?" Nova's golden eyes widened. "How did you know?" "For the past year, he's been meeting with strange people, scientists, military officers, people from other worlds. He asks us odd questions about our abilities, about how bonding works." "What kind of questions?" "Whether we could bond with non-Zephyrians, whether the bond could make us stronger, whether our children would inherit both parents' abilities." Nova looked frightened. "Marcus, I think our marriage isn't really about honoring the ritual. I think it's about something else." Before Marcus could respond, another knock came at the door. This time it was harder, more demanding. "Enter," Nova called. The door slid open and Lyra walked in. She was still wearing her training clothes, a tight black outfit that showed off her muscular arms and legs. Her white hair was tied back in a warrior's knot, and there was a long, curved sword at her side. "Nova," Lyra said coldly. You shouldn't be here. He's going to be our husband, Nova replied. We should get to know him. Lyra looked at Marcus like he was a problem to be solved. He's human. What's to know? Marcus felt his temper rise. I'm sitting right here. You could ask me directly. Lyra's silver eyebrows went up. Fine. Human. Are you a warrior? No. A scientist? Yes. Can you fight? Not really. Can you protect a family? Marcus hesitated. I don't know. I've never had to. Lyra snorted. Grandfather is giving us a weakling. Typical. Lyra. Nova. Snapped. That's rude. It's honest. Lyra shot back. Look at him, Nova. He's small, soft, and scared. How is he supposed to be our partner? Marcus stood up, his anger finally boiling over. Maybe I'm not a warrior like you, but I'm not weak. I've survived alone on hostile planets. I've solved problems that saved entire research teams. Just because I don't carry a sword doesn't mean I'm useless. For the first time, Lyra looked surprised. You have anger. Good. You might survive after. All. Survive what? Marcus demanded. The sisters exchanged a look. Nova bit her lip. Show him, she whispered to Lyra. Lyra sighed and rolled up her sleeve. Her silver skin was covered in strange marks, not tattoos, but actual scars that glowed with faint blue light. These are tracking marks, she explained. 3 days ago, someone tried to kidnap me from the training grounds. They used weapons I'd never seen before, and they knew exactly how to counter my fighting style. Marcus stared at the scars. Who would try to kidnap you? We don't know, Nova said. But they left these marks on her. The healers say they're designed to monitor biological functions, heartbeat, brain activity, genetic markers. Genetic markers? Marcus felt cold again. Someone is very interested in our family's DNA, Lyra said grimly. And now you're part of our family. A new voice spoke from the doorway. How touching. The happy family getting to know each other? All three of them turned. Consul Thane stood in the entrance, wearing the same purple robes from court. But now Marcus could see something he'd missed before. The old Zephyrian's eyes were different. Colors. One was silver like his granddaughters, but the other was completely black. Grandfather, Nova said, standing up. We were just... I know what you were doing, the consul interrupted. He stepped into the room and Marcus noticed 2 guards following behind him. You were sharing family secrets with an outsider. He's going to be family tomorrow, Lyra said, her hand moving toward her sword. Yes, he is. The consul smiled, but it was cold and calculating. Marcus Chen, are you ready for your wedding? Do I have a choice? Marcus asked. No, but you might find marriage educational. The consul moved closer. Tell me, human, what do you know about genetic compatibility? Marcus frowned. It's my specialty. I study how different plant species can be crossbred to create new varieties. Fascinating. And what about animal species? Could you say enhance the natural abilities of one species using the genetic material of another? Theoretically, yes, but why would you... Marcus stopped. The pieces were falling into place. This isn't about marriage at all, is it? The consul's smile grew wider. You're smarter than most humans. Good. That will make the process easier. What process? Nova demanded. Her grandfather looked at her with something that might have been affection. My dear granddaughters, you are about to become part of the most important experiment in galactic history. Your children will be the first of a new species, part human, part Zephyrian, and far more powerful than either. You're talking about breeding us like animals, Lyra snarled. I'm talking about evolution, the consul corrected. Humans have abilities we never suspected. Their minds are flexible in ways ours are not. When bonded with Zephyrian partners, they create interesting results. Marcus felt sick. You've done this before, Small experiments. Nothing like this. You see, Marcus, your genetic profile is quite unique. You have markers that suggest you could bond with multiple alien species simultaneously. That's never been possible before. So you arranged for me to find those flowers, Marcus said. I arranged for you to be in the right place at the right time. The bonding was real. My granddaughters don't lie about such things. But yes, it was. Guided. Nova looked horrified. Grandfather, how could you? For the future of our people, the consul replied. And for the future of the galaxy. There are threats coming that you cannot imagine. We need stronger allies. We need hybrid vigor. Lyra drew her sword in one smooth motion. I won't let you use us. The guards behind the consul raised weapons that hummed with energy, but before anyone could move, something strange happened. Marcus felt a sudden jolt in his mind, like an electric shock. At the same moment, both sisters gasped and grabbed their heads. What? Marcus started to say, then stopped. He could feel them. Not just Nova's emotions anymore, but Lyra's too. Anger, fear, protectiveness, and underneath it all, a growing connection that seemed to link all three of them together. Impossible, the consul whispered, his black eye widening. The bonding shouldn't be complete until after the ceremony. But it was happening. Marcus could sense Lyra's tactical mind analyzing the room, looking for escape routes. He could feel Nova's empathic abilities reaching out, trying to understand the guards' intentions. And they could feel his human determination, his absolute refusal to be used as a tool. For the first time since this nightmare began, Marcus smiled. I think your experiment just got complicated, he told the consul. The old Zephyrian stepped back, suddenly looking uncertain. Guards, escort them to separate chambers. No more contact until the ceremony. But as the guards moved forward, Marcus knew it was too late. Whatever had just happened between him and the sisters, it couldn't be undone now. The bond was real, and it was going to change everything. Part 3. The Human Factor. Marcus woke up in a different room. The walls were pure white, and the air tasted like metal. His head was pounding, and his mouth felt like he'd been eating sand. The last thing he remembered was the guards pointing their energy weapons at him and the sisters. He sat up slowly and looked around. The room was small and empty except for a simple bed and a table with water. No windows, no decorations. It felt like a prison cell. But the strangest thing was the voices in his head. Marcus? Are you awake? It was Nova's voice, but she wasn't, in the room with him. Finally came Lyra's thoughts, sharp and impatient. We've been trying to reach you for hours. Marcus nearly fell off the bed. This is impossible, he whispered. Not impossible. Nova's mental voice was gentle. Just unexpected. The bond formed faster than anyone thought it would. Too fast, Lyra added. Grandfather's people are panicking. They drugged us and separated us, but they can't break the connection. Marcus touched his temple. The voices were as clear as if both sisters were standing next to him. How is this working? You said Zephyrians couldn't bond with humans. We were wrong, Lyra admitted. Human brains are different, more flexible. You're not just bonding with us, you're making the bond stronger. Through their connection, Marcus could feel what they were feeling. Nova was scared but curious. Lyra was angry but also excited in a way she didn't want to admit. And underneath both emotions was something new, a sense of completeness, like three pieces of a puzzle finally fitting together. Where are you both? Marcus asked. Separate cells, like you, Nova replied. But I think we're all on the same ship. I can sense the guards outside. Can you sense anything else? Marcus concentrated, trying to understand this new ability. Through Nova's empathic powers, he could feel the emotions of people throughout the ship. Most of the crew was excited about something, but there was also fear, especially from the higher-ranking officers. Through Lyra's enhanced senses, he could hear conversations from other parts of the ship. Guards talking about the subjects and keeping them contained until the ceremony. But there was something else, sounds of preparation, like weapons being loaded and ships being fueled. "They're getting ready for something big," Lyra warned. Before Marcus could ask what, his cell door slid open. 2 guards in silver armor stepped inside, followed by a thin alien he'd never seen before. This one looked almost human, but its skin was pale blue and it had gills on the sides of its neck. "Marcus Chen," the alien said in perfect English. "I am Dr. Kellenar, Chief Researcher for Project Synthesis. Please come with us." "What if I refuse?" Marcus asked. The guards raised their weapons. Dr. Kellenar smiled coldly. "Then we will carry you. The choice is yours." Marcus stood up. Through the bond, he could feel Lyra's rage and Nova's fear as they were also taken from their cells. "Stay calm," he sent to both of them. "Let's see what they want." The guards led Marcus through corridors filled with alien technology. He saw laboratories with strange equipment, holding cells with other prisoners, and computer screens showing genetic diagrams that hurt his eyes to look at. They brought him to a large medical room. Lyra and Nova were already there, strapped to examination tables. Both sisters were conscious but couldn't move. Medical devices surrounded them, blinking with red and blue lights. "Ah, excellent," Dr. Kellenar said as more guards strapped Marcus to a third table. "Now we can begin the real tests." "What are you doing to them?" Marcus demanded. "Nothing harmful," the doctor replied, checking his instruments. "We're simply measuring the bond strength between you. Yesterday you showed impossible readings. Today we want to see how far this connection can go." Dr. Kellenar activated a machine that hummed with power. Immediately, Marcus felt the bond with the sisters grow stronger. He could see through Nova's eyes, feel Lyra's heartbeat as if it were his own. "Fascinating," the doctor murmured, reading data on his screens. "The human neural pathways are adapting in real time. You're not just bonding, you're evolving." "Marcus," Nova's voice was urgent, in his mind. "I can sense the doctor's thoughts. He's not working for grandfather alone. There's someone else giving orders." "Who?" Marcus asked. "I don't know. But whoever it is, they want to use our children as soldiers, and they want to make more humans like you. Ones who can bond with multiple species." Marcus felt sick. "Doctor, what's the real purpose of this experiment?" Dr. Kellenar looked up from his instruments. "To save the galaxy, of course. There are threats out there that single species cannot handle alone. We need unity. We need hybrid vigor. We need—" Alarms suddenly started blaring throughout the ship. Red lights flashed, and Marcus could hear running footsteps in the corridors. "What's happening?" the doctor demanded, speaking into a communication device. A panicked voice replied, "Sir, we're under attack. 3 ships just came out of hyperspace and they're jamming our communications." Dr. Kellenar's face went pale blue. "Impossible. No one knows about this project. Lyra, Marcus sent through the bond. Can you break free from these restraints?" "Not with the sedatives they gave me," she replied. "But if you could somehow boost my strength—" Marcus concentrated. He remembered reading about human adrenaline, how it could give people incredible power in emergencies. Through the bond, he tried to share that feeling with Lyra. Something amazing happened. Marcus felt his human determination and survival instinct flow through the connection. At the same time, Lyra's warrior training and Nova's empathic sensitivity flowed back to him. Lyra's eyes suddenly blazed with silver fire. With a roar, she snapped the metal restraints like they were made of paper. The machines monitoring her exploded in showers of sparks. "Impossible!" Dr. Kellenar shouted. Lyra rolled off the table and grabbed the doctor by his throat. "What's possible and what's not just changed," she snarled. The guards raised their weapons, but Nova was already free too, moving faster than Marcus had ever. Seen her move, She touched both guards on their foreheads. They immediately collapsed, their minds overwhelmed by the empathic feedback she projected. Nova freed Marcus from his restraints. "We need to get out of here," she said. "Wait," Marcus said, looking at Dr. Kellenar. Through the bond, he could sense the aliens' fear and something else, knowledge they needed. "Doctor, who's really behind this project? I can't tell you," the doctor stammered. Lyra tightened her grip. "Tell us or I'll snap your neck." "The Hegemony Council," Dr. Kellenar gasped. "They're the real power behind the Galactic Court. They've been manipulating laws for centuries, creating situations like yours to produce hybrid soldiers." "How many others are there?" Nova asked. "Dozens. Maybe hundreds. Forced marriages. Arranged. Accidents, manipulated encounters, all to create bonded pairs they can control." Marcus felt anger burning in his chest, not just his own, but Lyra's and Nova's too, amplified through their connection. "Where are the others?" "I don't know. Each research team only knows about their own projects." The ship shook violently, and more alarms started ringing. "We're running out of time," Lyra said. Through Nova's empathy, Marcus could sense chaos throughout the ship. The crew was abandoning their posts. Whatever was attacking them was winning. "We need to reach the escape pods," he sent to both sisters. "No," Lyra replied firmly. "We need to reach the ship's computer core. If this doctor is telling the truth, there might be information about other victims. We can't leave them to suffer like we did." "She's right," Nova agreed. "I can sense other prisoners on this ship. We can't abandon them." Marcus realized this was the moment that would define who they really were. They could run and save themselves, or they could fight back and try to save others. Through the bond, he felt both sisters waiting for his decision. They were looking to him for leadership, though he didn't understand why. "Doctor," Marcus said, "how do we access your computer systems?" "You can't. They're locked with genetic codes." Marcus smiled grimly. "I'm a geneticist, remember? And now, I'm bonded to two Zephyrians who know your technology." Through Lyra, he could understand the ship's security systems. Through Nova, he could sense where the computer core was located. And through his own human knowledge of genetics and problem-solving, he could figure out how to crack their codes. The ship shook again, harder this time. "Let's go save some people," Marcus said. As they ran through the corridors, Marcus realized something had changed. He wasn't scared anymore. The bond had given him Lyra's courage and Nova's compassion, but it had also given them something uniquely human: the stubborn refusal to give up when innocent people needed help. Behind them, Dr. Kellenar was speaking, frantically into his communicator. "The subjects have escaped! They're heading for the computer core! Stop them at all costs!" But Marcus knew they wouldn't be stopped. Not anymore. The human factor had just entered the equation, and everything was about to change. Part 4. Revolution Rising. The ship's computer core was protected by 6 guards and 3 layers of security doors. Marcus crouched behind a corner with Lyra and Nova, watching the armed aliens through the bond's shared vision. 6 guards. Energy. Weapons? And they're expecting us, Lyra observed through their mental connection. "I can sense their emotions," Nova added. "They're scared, but determined. They know what we are now." Marcus studied the situation with his human tactical thinking, enhanced by his bondmate's abilities. The guards are positioned to cover the main entrance, but they can't watch everywhere at once. "What are you thinking?" Lyra asked. "Something very human," Marcus replied. "Something they won't expect." He explained his plan through the bond. Both sisters looked at him like he was crazy. "That's completely insane," Lyra said. "It's also brilliant," Nova admitted. "But are you sure you can do it?" Marcus took a deep breath. "Only one way to find out." He stepped around the corner and walked straight toward the guards, hands raised in surrender. "Don't shoot!" he called out. "I want to make a deal!" The guards tensed but didn't fire. Their leader, a tall reptilian alien with yellow scales, hissed at him. "Stay where you are, human!" "Listen," Marcus said, still walking slowly forward. "I know about the Hegemony Council. I know about Project Synthesis. I also know that this ship is under attack and you're all probably going to die." "What's your point?" the reptilian guard demanded. "My point is that I'm valuable to your bosses, more valuable than all of you combined. So why don't we work out a trade?" While Marcus kept the guards distracted with talking, Lyra was moving through, the ship's ventilation system above them. Her enhanced strength and agility, boosted by Marcus's human determination, allowed her to move silently through spaces that should have been impossible to navigate. Almost in position, she reported through. "The bond, Nova, are you ready?" Marcus asked. "Ready," came the reply. Nova was 3 corridors away, but her empathic abilities had been enhanced by their bond. She could now project emotions across much greater distances than any normal Zephyrian. "So what kind of deal are you talking about?" the reptilian guard asked. "Simple," Marcus said. "I'll come quietly, no resistance, if you promise to let my wives live." The guard laughed. "You're in no position to make demands, human." "Actually, I am." Marcus smiled. "Because in about 10 seconds, you're all going to experience something no alien has ever felt before." "Now, Nova," he sent through the bond. Nova unleashed a wave of pure human emotion through her empathic abilities. Not just fear or anger, but something uniquely human. Righteous fury. The burning need to protect innocent people, combined with absolute refusal to give up against impossible odds. The guards staggered as the unfamiliar emotion hit them. For species that had evolved with different emotional structures, the intensity of human determination was overwhelming. "Now, Lyra!" Lyra dropped through the ceiling behind the guards. Moving with inhuman speed, she disarmed all 6 before they could recover from Nova's empathic assault. In 30 seconds, the computer core was theirs. "That," Marcus said to the unconscious, "guards, is what humans call teamwork." The computer core was a massive crystal structure that pulsed with blue light. Marcus approached it carefully, using Lyra's knowledge of Zephyrian technology and his own understanding of data systems. "How do we access it?" Nova asked as she joined them. "Same way I access any computer," Marcus replied. "I find the back door." He began typing on the crystal interface, his fingers moving faster than should have been possible. The bond was allowing him to process information at an enhanced rate. Data flowed across the screens faster than normal eyes could follow, but Marcus could read it all. And what he found made him sick. "They've been doing this for 50 years, he said quietly. "Hundreds of forced marriages, thousands of hybrid children taken from their parents." "Show us," Lyra demanded. Marcus shared what he was seeing through the bond. File after file of victims. Humans bonded to Zephyrians, Altarians paired with Centauri, Rigelians forced to mate with species they'd never even met, all in the name of creating superior hybrid soldiers. "This is monstrous," Nova whispered. "It's about to get worse," Marcus said, accessing deeper files. "They're planning to go public. In 6 months, they want to announce the success of interspecies cooperation and make forced bonding legal throughout the galaxy." "We have to stop them," Lyra said. "We will," Marcus replied. "But first, we save everyone we can." He began downloading prisoner locations, facility maps, and guard schedules. Through the ship's communication system, he could hear the battle raging outside. Their unknown rescuers were winning, but barely. "Marcus," Nova said urgently, "I'm sensing something else. There are other bonded pairs on this ship, in the lower levels." Marcus checked the prisoner manifest. 12 couples, all forced bonds, all being studied like lab rats. The ship shuddered violently. Whatever was attacking them was getting closer to finishing the job. "We need to move," Lyra warned. "This ship won't last much longer." "Copy everything," Marcus ordered the computer. Ship layouts, prisoner locations, hegemony council member identities, all of it. While the data downloaded, Marcus opened the ship's internal communication system. Throughout the vessel, his voice echoed from every speaker. "Attention all prisoners and forced bonding subjects. This is Marcus Chen. If you can hear this, we're here to help you. We're coming to get you out." Immediately, responses came back through the communication system. Voices in dozens of different languages, all saying the same thing. "Please hurry." But one voice stood out. It spoke in accented English with a distinctly human tone. "Marcus, is that really a human voice? This is Captain Sarah Williams, Earth Space Navy. I've been a prisoner here for 8 months. Marcus nearly dropped the data pad. "Captain Williams? How did Earth military get involved in this?" "They took me during a diplomatic mission. Forced me to bond with an Andorian commander named Krell. We've been trying to organize the other prisoners, but the guards keep us separated." "A human military officer," Lyra observed. "She could be valuable. She could help us coordinate a real rescue," Nova added. "Captain Williams," Marcus said into the communicator, "we're heading to the prisoner levels now. Can you get the others ready to move?" "Roger that. But Marcus, you should know. Word about your triple bond has spread through the prison levels. The other victims are calling you the Catalyst. They think you might be the key to breaking the hegemony's control." Marcus felt a chill. Through the bond, he could sense both sisters having the same realization. "That's why Grandfather was so interested in us," Nova said. "Not just for our children, but because our bond is different, stronger." "Different how?" Marcus asked. "Think about it," Lyra explained. "Normal Zephyrian bonds are between two people, but you bonded with both of us simultaneously, and you're human. A species that's not supposed to be able to bond at all." The ship's lights flickered and emergency alarms began blaring. "We're out of time," Marcus said, grabbing the downloaded data. "Let's go save some people." As they ran through the corridors toward the prison levels, Marcus could feel something changing in the bond between them. It was getting stronger, more complex, and somehow he knew that other bonded pairs could sense it too. They reached the first prison level, just as the ship's attackers breached the outer hull. Through the bond, Marcus could sense the emotions of dozens of prisoners. Hope, fear, desperate relief. But he could also sense something else. The hegemony forces were regrouping. They weren't just trying to save their research, they were trying to capture him specifically. They know we're the key to something bigger, he realized. As they began freeing the first group of prisoners, Marcus saw Captain Williams for the first time. She was tall and strong-looking, with short brown hair and determined green eyes. Next to her stood an alien that looked like a cross between a lizard and a wolf, presumably Commander Krell. "Thank God," Captain Williams said when she saw them. "We were starting to think no one was coming." "Someone's always coming," Marcus replied. "That's what humans do. We don't leave people behind." Through the bond, he felt both Lyra and Nova smile at that very human sentiment, but their celebration was short-lived. Heavy footsteps echoed through the corridors, and the unmistakable hum of charging weapons filled the air. "They're coming," Lyra warned. "A lot of them," Nova added, sensing their approaching emotions. Marcus looked at the dozens of freed prisoners. Different species, different worlds, but all victims of the same system. "Time to find out what this bond can really do," he said. The revolution was about to begin. Part 5. The Catalyst. Unleashed Marcus stood in the center of the prison level, surrounded by dozens of freed prisoners from different worlds. Through his bond with Lyra and Nova, he could feel the approaching hegemony forces. At least 50 armed soldiers closing in from all directions. "Captain Williams," he called to the human officer, "how many prisoners can fight?" "Maybe 20, she replied, checking her makeshift weapon. "But we're badly outgunned." Commander Krell, her Andorian bondmate, growled agreement. "Their weapons are military grade. Ours are improvised tools." Marcus closed his eyes and reached out through his connection with the sisters. Through Nova's empathy, he could sense all the bonded pairs around him. Each couple had their own unique link, but they were all separate, isolated. What if they weren't isolated? He thought. What are you thinking? Lyra asked through their bond. Something. That's probably impossible, Marcus replied. But then again, 3 weeks ago I thought bonding with aliens was impossible too. He opened his eyes and looked at Captain Williams. Sarah, when you were forced to bond with Krell, did you feel any connection to other bonded pairs? No, she said. Why? Because humans aren't supposed to be able to bond at all, Marcus explained. But we do it anyway. What if that's not a limitation? What if it's our strength? Marcus, what are you planning? Nova asked, though through the bond he could tell she was beginning to understand. I'm going to try to connect everyone, he replied. All the bonded pairs. Turn their network experiment against them. That could kill you, Lyra warned. Zephyrian minds aren't designed to handle that many connections. Good thing I'm not Zephyrian, Marcus said with a grim smile. The sound of marching feet was getting closer. Marcus could hear Dr. Kellinar's voice over a loudspeaker. Surrender now, and we'll make your deaths quick. Resist, and you'll spend the rest of your lives in our laboratories. Here they come, Captain Williams said, raising her weapon. Wait, Marcus said. He turned to address all the freed prisoners. I need everyone to listen to me. I know you're from different worlds, different species, but right now we're all the same thing. We're all victims of the hegemony's experiments. A Rigelian with blue skin and tentacles for hair spoke up. What are you suggesting, human? I'm suggesting we show them what happens when you force people to work together, Marcus replied. They wanted to create a network of bonded soldiers? Fine, let's give them a network. Through his bond with Lyra and Nova, Marcus began reaching out to the other couples. It was like trying to touch electricity with his bare hands. Painful, dangerous, but somehow possible. The first connection was with Captain Williams and Commander Krell. Marcus felt their bond snap into place with his own, creating a four-way link. Williams gasped as she suddenly gained access to Krell's enhanced senses and tactical knowledge. This is incredible, she whispered. Keep going, Marcus said through gritted teeth. The mental strain was enormous, but he pushed forward. One by one, he connected with the other bonded pairs, a Centauri diplomat and his Altarian wife, twin Arcturian brothers forced to bond with human scientists, a young Vegan girl linked to an elderly Rigelian scholar. With each new connection, the network grew stronger. Marcus could feel the unique abilities of dozens of different species flowing through the link. Enhanced strength, telepathic abilities, perfect memory, electrical generation, gravity manipulation, all of it shared among the group. This is impossible, Nova sent through the bond. No mind should be able to handle this many connections. Human minds are different, Marcus replied. Even as pain shot through his skull, we're adaptable. We survive by connecting with others. The hegemony soldiers rounded the corner, weapons raised. Dr. Kellinar was with them, along with Consul Thane and several other high-ranking officials. There they are, Dr. Kellinar called out. Remember, we need the human alive. Kill the others if necessary. I don't think so, Captain Williams said. She moved with impossible speed, using Krell's Andorian reflexes enhanced by Marcus's human determination. She disarmed 3 soldiers before they could react. All around the room, the bonded pairs began fighting with abilities that shouldn't have been possible. The elderly Rigelian scholar moved like a young warrior, powered by his Vegan partners' life energy. The Arcturian twins fought with perfect coordination, their movements guided by their human bondmates' tactical thinking. But it was Lyra and Nova who truly showed what the network could do. Enhanced by connections to dozens of different species, Lyra became a force of nature. She moved faster than light, hit harder than gravity, and fought with the combined knowledge of every warrior in the group. Nova's empathic abilities, amplified by the network, allowed her to predict every enemy move before it happened. She could sense their intentions and relay them instantly to everyone else through the bond. "This is impossible!" Dr. Kellenar screamed as his soldiers fell one by one. "Humans can't do this!" "You're right," Marcus said, standing in the center of the chaos with his eyes glowing silver. "Humans can't do this, but humans working together with others, we can do anything." Consul Thane raised his own weapon, aiming directly at Marcus. "If I can't have you as a subject, I'll destroy you!" But before he could fire, Nova appeared between them. Moving with inhuman speed, she grabbed the weapon and crushed it with her bare hands. "You used us," she said to her grandfather, her voice filled with disappointed fury. "You betrayed your own family for this madness." "I did it for the future," the old Zephyrian replied. "The galaxy needs unity. It needs control." "The galaxy needs freedom," Lyra said, appearing beside her sister. "Something you'll never understand." The last of the hegemony soldiers fell. Through the network, Marcus could sense that the ship's attackers had finally breached the command center. He could feel their emotions through the bond, surprise, hope, and determination. Who are they? He wondered. His question was answered when a new group of figures appeared in the doorway. They were led by a tall woman with short black hair and the insignia of an Earth Admiral on her uniform. "Captain Williams," the Admiral called out. "Are you all right?" "Admiral Chen," Sarah replied with relief. "How did you find us?" Marcus stared at the Admiral. "Chen, are you related to—" "Marcus, Chen is my nephew," Admiral Lisa Chen said, looking at him with a mixture of pride and concern. "When he disappeared, Earth started investigating. We discovered the hegemony's network and tracked their ships." "You came to rescue me?" Marcus asked, amazed. "We came to rescue everyone," the Admiral replied. "Earth doesn't abandon its people. And when we learned about the forced bonding program, we contacted other species who'd lost people the same way." Through the bond network, Marcus could sense the truth of her words. The attacking ships weren't just from Earth. They represented a dozen different worlds, all united in their anger at the hegemony's crimes. "It's over," Admiral Chen announced. "We've captured the hegemony council members and seized their research facilities across the galaxy. Every forced bond experiment has been shut down." Marcus felt a wave of relief flow through the network, dozens of voices in his mind all saying the same thing. "We're free." But then Dr. Kellenar laughed. "You think this ends it? There are hundreds of hybrid children in hegemony facilities, thousands of frozen genetic samples. The project will continue even without us." He's right, Marcus realized. This was just one ship, one facility. The real work is scattered across the galaxy. Through the bond, he could feel the determination of every connected pair. They'd found each other, found their strength, but their work wasn't done. "Then we'll find them all," Captain Williams said. "Firmly. Every facility, every hidden laboratory," added Commander Krell. "Every stolen child," Nova said, taking Marcus's hand. "Until everyone is free," Lyra finished, taking his other hand. Marcus looked around at the diverse group of bonded pairs, still connected through his human ability to bring different people together. They came from dozens of worlds, represented hundreds of species, but they were united by something stronger than genetics or forced bonds. They were united by choice. "Admiral," Marcus said to his aunt, "I think we have work to do." Admiral Chen smiled. "The galaxy is about to learn something important about humans, isn't it?" "Yeah," Marcus replied, feeling the strength of every connection in the network. "We don't just survive. We help others thrive." 6 months later, Marcus stood in the new Galactic Council chambers, watching as representatives from every major species signed the Universal Freedom Accord. The document declared forced bonding illegal throughout known space and established the Interspecies Cooperation Institute. Beside him, Lyra and Nova wore simple wedding rings, not because a court had forced them to, but because they'd chosen to make their bond official on their own terms. "Any regrets?" Nova asked softly. Marcus looked out at the diverse group of beings working together by choice rather than force. In the back of the chamber, he could see Captain Williams and Commander Krell helping other rescued prisoners adjust to their freedom. The network they'd created had grown into something beautiful, a voluntary connection between species that chose to work together. "None at all," he said, squeezing both their hands. "Sometimes the best things in life come from the worst situations." Through their bond, he could feel their agreement. And somewhere in the galaxy, other bonded pairs, free now to choose their own.